If you're thinking about buying a house, this video is for you. Most people think that buying a house is just considering, can I afford it? What are interest rates right now? Are they going to go up? Are they going to go down? What interest rate can I get? Is now a good time to buy? These are all really important questions. But the truth is, the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to home purchases have nothing to do with rates or listings. The biggest mistake that people make when buying a home stem from not thinking through the full financial, lifestyle, and opportunity cost picture of doing so. So today, I'm going to walk you through 10 things that you should think about before you buy a house so that you don't end up house poor or stuck with the decision that you're going to regret a few years down the line. If you're new here, I'm Julie, your favorite finance coach. I'm a former investment banker, passionate about teaching people all the finances that we did not learn in school. So let's talk about the 10 questions you should be asking yourself before buying a house. The first question is, why are you buying this house? This sounds super obvious, but you'd be surprised of how many people don't ask themselves this question before diving into a home purchase. So ask yourself, why are you buying the house? Are you buying it because you actually want to live there? Are you buying it as an investment that you hope will appreciate? Do you feel pressure to buy a house because everyone around you is doing it? Or because your parents, friends, or someone else is pressuring you to buy one? Do you think that renting is throwing away money? Or are you afraid of potentially being priced out of the housing market forever if you don't take action and buy one now? A house is more than just a home. A house can be a financial decision, a lifestyle decision, and an emotional decision. Problems stem when you pretend that the reason for making a purchase is one thing when it's really something totally different. So before you buy a house, be honest with yourself about what the home purchase actually means to you and why you are actually wanting to go through with it. The second really important question you should ask yourself before purchasing a home is, how long are you realistically going to live in the home? Buying a house almost never makes sense short term. It's usually a long-term decision, and transaction costs of purchasing a home are real. These can include things like closing costs, agent commissions, moving expenses, and any potential repairs that may be needed on the home before or after you move in. In most markets, buying a home requires you to keep possession of it for 5 to 7 years at least in order to simply break even, let alone make a good return. If your career is in flux, if you have plans to relocate, or if your relationship status may change soon and may require a move, renting may be the smarter move at this time. Or maybe not. But remember, flexibility has value, and it's important to weigh this factor in your decision. The third question you should get clear on is the true cost of homeownership. A lot of people think that owning a home is the mortgage payment, but that is not the reality. When you purchase a home, you also need to include other costs in your calculation. Property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance and repairs, HOA fees if they're applicable, and utilities, which oftentimes can be higher than apartments, should all be factored in when considering this question. A good rule of thumb, according to experts, is 1 to 2% of the home value should be expected for maintenance alone. If these numbers make you uncomfortable, then take this into consideration. The fourth question you should be asking when considering buying a home is, how stable is your income? Having a high income does not automatically mean a stable income. You need to ask yourself, how reliable is my income? Is my job tied to a bonus or a commission? Do I work in a cyclical industry? Am I at risk of a potential layoff? If I do lose my job, how easy will it be to find one in the same location as the home I am considering purchasing? And would I struggle to replace this income if I lost it? The more variable your income, the more conservative your housing decision should be. A home should support your life, not increase your anxiety. The fifth question you should ask yourself before purchasing a home is, how will this affect my cash position. Buying a house tends to drain your cash. You need money for things like the down payment, the closing costs, furnishing the home, and any initial fixes or maintenance that's required before you move in. After considering those costs, you're also going to need to leave cash left over so that you still have your emergency fund in case something goes wrong. And as mentioned previously, you're going to need that buffer for home repairs and other unexpected expenses that you're now responsible for now that you're not living in an apartment or with family any longer. If buying a home is going to completely wipe out your liquidity, you may want to give it a second thought. The risk that you'd be taking on purchasing a home may or may not be worth the reward. The sixth question to consider when thinking of buying a home is, what is the opportunity cost of this purchase? This one is huge and it rarely is discussed. The down payment that you've been saving, if not used to purchase a home, could potentially be used to continue investing and growing your nest egg. It could also be used for you to fund a new business. It could provide you optionality and freedom. Remember, home equity is illiquid, but a nest egg of invested assets can be used for a variety of different purposes, and it provides additional flexibility to your life. If you take that money and put it into a down payment, it's essentially gone for years to come. You won't be able to easily access it without selling or refinancing your home. So, ask yourself, is me tying up this much capital into this home purchase in alignment with my long-term financial goals? The seventh question you should ask yourself before making a home purchase is, what fixed cost will I be locked into once the purchase is complete? Once you buy a house, your biggest expenses become fixed. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOA, these all increase your fixed costs and reduce your fixed cost flexibility. What this does is it limits your ability to take risks and it reduces your flexibility. So before you lock yourself into these fixed costs, make sure you're leaving room for saving, investing, and continuing to enjoy your life. Before buying a home, ask yourself, will making this purchase allow me to continue thriving and not just surviving? The eighth question to ask yourself before purchasing a house is, what do I want my life to look like in 5 years? This is not just about equity appreciation. Think about, do you want kids? Will you be working remotely? Will you have to relocate for your job? What is my commute tolerance from this house to wherever I may need to be to show up for work? What lifestyle changes can you expect over the next 5 years? What is the status of your own health and that of your aging parents? A house that works for your current life, but not your future life, can quickly become a burden. Obviously, a lot can happen over a 5 or 10 year time frame, and I'm not expecting you to have a crystal ball, but you need to acknowledge any likely paths that you may pursue and what impact owning a home will have. The ninth question you should ask yourself before buying a home is, how emotionally attached will I be to this property? Homes can be a very emotional thing, especially if they're your primary residence. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can become dangerous financially. Emotional attachment can lead to overpaying, ignoring red flags, falling victim to renovation creep, and refusing to sell the property when it makes sense to do so. Before you buy a home, decide, is this going to be a primary residence or an asset? Knowing that up front can help you make more rational decisions later. The 10th and final question to ask yourself before buying a house is, what does winning look like for this purchase? In other words, define success for this purchase before you make it. Is the goal to stay under a certain monthly cost? Or is it to have flexibility to move if needed? Do you want to build equity slowly but safely? Or are you thinking about lifestyle and peace of mind? If you don't define what the win or success looks like for the purchase, it's easy to first off make the wrong one and then later have buyer's remorse. Buying a house can be a very great decision for a lot of people, but it can also be a very expensive mistake. The key is not to ask, can I buy a house? Can I afford a house? But instead ask yourself, does buying a house support the life that I am trying to build. And most importantly, being honest with yourself about the answer. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you think it could help someone you know, please share it with them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.